Hello, and welcome to Mindset Mondays with DTK. This is episode number 126 in an ongoing live broadcast series of folks designed for folk who have a growth mindset or those who'd like to create one. Designed for folks who are really dedicated to becoming better at being who they are at their core, rather than being distracted by merely getting better at doing what they do. And as of this week, this broadcast is now going out not just on Facebook, but also live on YouTube. So welcome to the folk who are joining in the morning from YouTube. So comments you'll see it on whichever platform you're on. So this is an interesting week. It was one of those epiphanies that's brought up that came to me during a coaching with one of my clients. And so when I saw the quote that we're going to be playing with today, the line that came up for me was, I see blind people everywhere. Now, and I know that because I actually am one of them. Now, this is more than just a good movie reference, because I love that. This is more than just a pulp culture playground. I am constantly amazed at how blind we are to our own wants and fears and dreams and shortcomings and patterns and the blocks that in most of us are just, no matter how self-aware we seem to miss these things. It's almost as if as soon as our gaze hits the mirror, we go blind. This is a quote that came from a conversation with my coach, and he brought this to us during a mastermind. The three great mysteries: air to a bird, water to a fish, and man to himself. A client recently shared with me that her husband and her daughter were at each other, and I could even hear them on one of our calls in the background. And at the core, her husband was trying to control in their child that very thing over which he had no control of in his life. And immediately, it was one of those moments where I had to be really present in the coaching, because I immediately realized that, man, I had been that dad, and for a very, very long time. I raged when I saw in my eldest the very things that I struggled with accepting in myself. I wasn't conscious to it at the time, and my kid was, but I wasn't conscious to it at the time, and it put a stain and a strain on our relationship, something that we've only dealt with recently, a decade later, maybe more. And what I got curious about is, why is it that what I can see so clearly happening in others, and what we can always see happening so clearly in others, that we can't see in ourselves, that I couldn't see in myself? Look, the truth is, it's because I'm human, and that's what humans do by default. But with attention and intention, we can break that pattern and solve at least one of those great mysteries. And so I'm curious, what is it that you're blind to? Remember the three great mysteries: air to a bird, water to a fish, and man unto himself. What is it that you're blind to? What is it that is happening in your world and is happening with you that you're failing to see, even though you could so clearly see it happening and patterns in others? What are you missing? And more importantly, who are the folk around you in your world that help you see what you are missing? One of the things I've said over and over and over and over again, and if you're a coach, oh my God, you've heard me say this, but I'm going to say it again. Best kept secret in personal development is coach training. Man, the first coach that I worked with, a guy named Paul O'Connor was the first coach I had. And then Alfred Depew. And then during my certification, I worked with Laurie Schneider. And God, there have been so many other coaches I worked with along the way. Jennifer is my 201, every single coach that I've worked with, I've had the same experience. They point out to me things that, oh my God, they're so blatant and obvious to the folk around me, but I was completely blind to. Asking me the questions that surface the things that I've been blind to, that open me up to my blind spots. Right, Lawrence? Oh my God. Yes, need blind spot indicator like in the new cars. Mine would be going off all day. And Dwayne, like you've got a therapist who's a mirror for you. One of the ways I describe coaching is I have the best job in the world. My job is nothing more than reflecting the system back to itself, holding up a mirror that's clear and clean and not distorted to help people see who they are. And what my coaches have done for me is I think we all have a circus mirror, a Coney Island Funhouse mirror reflection of ourselves. I know that mine, for some folks, when they see themselves in the mirror, they don't see their body. They see a fat version of their body or an unattractive version of their body, or they have an unhealthy, distorted reflection of themselves. And I have all my saboteurs and all that language in my head. I have a distorted view of myself. And my work is constantly peeling off that distortion of myself and trying to see myself for who I truly am. And Eric Schmidt, used to be the chairman and CEO of Google, when he was interviewed by Fortune, but the best advice he ever got, he said, have a coach. And he said, because people are really bad at seeing how they show up in the world. And a coach is really good for reflecting that back, because like my coaches did for me, they take that distorted, warped mirror and pull it straight so that I've got a clear, truthful reflection back of who I'm being and how I'm showing up. And no. This, don't get me wrong, this is not a pitch about coaching. This is about the people in my world who have been the reflection back for me and helped me see those blind spots. Elaine is like that for me. Now, I'm a stubborn shit. There are times where I won't hear it from her because I have all these stories wrapped up. But yes, even Elaine is a great mirror for me to reflect back how I'm showing up and help me see the blind spots. Oh my God, all three of my kids are as well. Who are the people in your world that are that mirror for you? Who are the folk in your world that help you see your blind spots and help you see how you're showing up and allow you to make different choices? One of the reasons I'm part of the mastermind that I'm part of is I've got a room full of 26, 27 other people who call me on my shit. I've got some friends who are willing to name what's going on. And I've got some colleagues that have become friends who are incredible at calling me on my shit. In fact, I spend every other Monday night for 2 hours on the phone with a tight group of folk who, that's who we are for each other. And I think what I want to bring to the surface here is you can solve one of these mysteries. You can't help a bird understand air. You can't help a fish understand water. But you can be there for those around you in your world and help them understand themselves. And they, for you, there's one of these mysteries that you can solve. A human unto themselves. You got to be willing to have that relationship with the people around you, friends, colleagues, family, whatever it is. Hire a coach, hire a therapist. But having somebody in your world that's willing to yank that mirror straight and give you a true, judgment-free reflection of who you're being, that's a gift. Individuals, professionals, community, surround yourself with people who don't let you get away with your shit. I have. And I still struggle with it. Pay a lot of money every year, and I spend a lot of time and effort and energy to surround myself with people who will call me on it. I still fight it. I'm still human. But the beautiful thing is I'm doing the work. And and I want to offer that this time of uncertainty and constantly changing landscape and changing guidelines for when we're, let's just say, the changing landscape and guidelines. Now's time to double down on doing the work on yourself. Spend time doing the things that help you grow, that help you shift, that help you change your attention and put intention on the things you want to change. This is a great time, as Dwayne said in the comment, to getting back into meditation or starting it. Meditation also helps me observe me in a more honest way. Thank you, Dwayne. And you know what? There's a website and there's a concept behind it. The website's 1 Minute Meditation. Getting into meditation is not some long, arduous task. Yes, it's a discipline that becomes a lifelong study and habit. Fine. But you don't start off with a 13-day silent meditation retreat. You start off small and build the muscle. Start a new practice, start a new behavior, start a new awareness. And I'll challenge the folks who are listening to this live and the folks that are going to be listening to this on the recording and as it's posted on the website and as you come to the Facebook community, I'm going to challenge you to go to a website called Positive Intelligence, positiveintelligence.com. You'll see a link at the top for the saboteur assessment. It's an opportunity for you to take a quick free assessment and learn about the different judgy voices that you've got inside your head and how to identify them. In other words, how to reflect the system back to itself. When is it those misguided angels that are giving you crappy input? And when is it you? When are the voices in your head actually honest and true and coming from you? And it's a chance for you to unpack and learn. So I challenge you to go to positiveintelligence.com and take the saboteur assessment. More than happy to have a conversation with you about the results as well. I'm working with Shazad Shamin right now, the man who built that body of work over the last 20 years. It's a chance for you to be that mirror, to reflect the system back to yourself and start to better understand yourself. Because when you put your attention on yourself and what's going on inside, then you can set an intention about you want to be different. And yes, Mary Virginia, when you're pulled in so many directions, it's very hard, nigh on impossible, to focus on what's true and real and not get caught up in operating in default mode. So this week, it's an opportunity to solve one of the 3 great mysteries. And that website is positiveintelligence.com. No funky spelling, no craziness. Positiveintelligence.com. And you'll see the saboteur assessment in the navigation. And again, it's free. It takes 5 minutes. The results you get back are incredibly rich and powerful. And it's a chance for you to better understand yourself. And remember, as you're reviewing the results, the website isn't "this is a death sentence, you're screwed.com. It's positiveintelligence.com. This is a chance for you to better understand some of your wiring and some of the language that you're hearing inside and where the source of it is, the natural judging voices that we have inside, and they are misguided angels. They are defense mechanisms that are outdated and not useful. So I encourage you to play with it and take the assessment, play with the results. And again, come to the Facebook group. Mindset, it's facebook.com/groups/Mindset Mondays. I'd love to have a conversation with you about the results and what you're learning from it. I'll even share my results as well. They're fascinating. This is something I've been using since 2012 with my clients, and it's a fantastic tool to play with. So enjoy. And between now and next week, it's an opportunity to solve one of these great mysteries and start to pick up where your blind spots are. So between now and next week,